Every full moon is a journey. Check the links for some details about that. Today, August 11th, this full moon involves some other players. In my astrology, I stay away from discussing the signs. That's just how I do things. If you want to learn about that, there are dozens, if not thousands, of other people that you can learn about that from. What I am focused on is the actual planetary interactions involved in these transits. So the full moon is always a transit of the moon to the sun. The sun and the moon are always in direct opposition. That is the nature of a full moon. Now, in this instance, the planet Saturn is very close to this opposition. Now, when I'm looking at oppositions, I give a wider orb, that is a distance in terms of degrees between the exactitude of the specific aspect or transit. In this case, an opposition is 180 degrees, and Saturn will be at a distance of about 3 degrees off of that, or 183 degrees, which is totally good for me. And the reason why for an opposition I give a larger orb, I will show you. When something is right next to me, or a conjunction, if it gets this far away, it's a noticeable distance, okay? But if I'm looking way across at something, it could be a little bit off, and it still kind of feels like it's directly across from me. It's that distance in time and space that allows for a larger orb, or for a more generalized and longer standing influence of the energy. None of this is really that metaphysical. The nature of energy interacting with one another. If something is across from you, it doesn't have to be as exact of an angle for you to feel like it's still across from you. But if something is right next to you, if it gets a little bit far away from you, you can feel that it's further away from you. I don't know if everybody does it that way. This is kind of how I do it. It's what's worked for me for the past decade. So now we have Saturn in opposition and also in conjunction with the moon, opposition to the sun, bringing in a kind of a serious note to things. This is bringing in a bit of a tough energy, if you will. Tough meaning not really difficult as much as it is relating to the issues that have been long-standing, have a firm foundation, and generally that would be the more problematic stuff on one end, and would be the really stable things on the other end. So why is Saturn kind of given a bad name in astrology? Because the stuff that is foundational, that's just there, you don't want to change it. You don't want to do anything with it. It just kind of exists. You don't really think about it. You don't talk about it. But then on the other end, the things that Saturn represents that are more ingrained, that are really kind of stuck, those things are a pain in the ass. And sometimes you can't do anything about them. And so these are the types of things that we could be really hampered by. This would be like extreme debt, maybe some contract you sign that kind of sucks, or maybe when you're in a relationship and it's just not that good, right? You want to leave, you're done with it, and hey, that's life. But you have children, or you share a house together, or you are married, so it just feels like getting out of it is really, really hard. So Saturn always comes into play there as well. But also, let's not forget that Saturn also plays a role in the contracts that are working for us. So the marriage that's good, the great rate you got on a lease, or the great rate you got on your mortgage, or contracts that are working for you as well. But again, these sorts of things, we don't really worry about those things. That's why gratitude is very, very important, especially for appreciating Saturn transits. Have some gratitude if you're going through Saturn transits. But that's kind of like the theme of Saturn. So in terms of this interaction, what does it mean? Well, what it means is that we're getting a sobering Saturn, kind of a sobering view of the issues that not only are on the sort of good side of things, the more enjoyable side of things, but we're also getting a sobering view of the things that are kind of like, I really wish I could work on them. So these issues need to be broken down into 2 topics. One of them is that which I can control, okay? And you could work forever on those. Maybe you change the way you do things. Maybe you change your approach to things. Maybe you breathe a little bit deeper. Maybe you talk to a person and try to find some common ground. Maybe you re-sign a contract. Maybe you refinance a loan if you can. So that's the things that you can actually change or do something about. But the second part is kind of like the stuff that I love. The second part is the stuff that you can't change. You can't really do anything about. Someone may have, maybe you've lost a leg in an injury or from a sickness. You can't really bring your leg back, okay? But what you can do, and I'm not overshadowing any pain that goes along with that. I understand, I can empathize, I do not actually personally understand. But when that situation does occur, if you spend all of your time thinking about how much it sucks, Saturn and this moon can be like, fuck man, I got nothing. And I see that, and maybe there's room for that. You need to be cathartic, you need to be expressive, you need to explore being a victim of the universe for a little bit. But since your life is your life, the sober view is basically saying my life is my life, it's my responsibility. You can begin to do things differently. You can begin to view your plight as less of a punishment and more of an opportunity to enjoy the approach that it's offering you, if you will. For instance, being delayed for a flight. Let's say your flight is canceled, but then the opportunity is to sit still, is to maybe take the voucher from the airline and stay at the hotel and have a night just to yourself that you didn't even know you needed. So these are kind of the themes of Saturn being involved in a moon, and also just general Saturn transits. So to recap the Saturn portion here, we have 1, 2, 3 options. One of them, which is I recommend doing every day, gratitude for the things that you have. It's that simple. Write it down, speak it out loud. Number 2, things that you can change, you can actually affect in your life. Make a plan, decide whether or not it's worth your time, and then take one step at a time. Number 3, things that you cannot change. Maybe you've lost someone. Okay? Maybe you're in a contract you can't get out of. Make the best of that situation by changing the inner approach to the situation. And this is completely up to you. You do not have to do this. But trust me, if you do it, you'll feel better. Just a little note. I have this phone wedged in a tree. So right now, it looks like I'm just speaking to a tree. So as you can see, I'm switching locations because someone is reading. So I'm gonna go to a different tree and talk. There he is. So the final piece to all of this is that there's another planetary aspect developing, and it will exact on Sunday, that would be the 14th, and that is Mars trining Pluto. Now this, in addition to the Saturn aspect, brings another load of seriousness or depth. When Mars is interacting with Pluto in any form, we are getting in touch with the deepest possible physical energy that we can. In this instance, it's actually an ease of flow because it is a trine. So the energy of deep reserved passion, think of Pluto as the reserves of energy, like your kidney, and think of Mars as the expression of that energy, the same way you dance or you move. There's almost something effortless about expressing the deepest held energies right now. So then when Saturn gets involved and brings us to these serious topics that may or may not be frustrating, we can be kind of intense. So if we take those 3 steps that we just talked about when dealing with Saturn and we apply those to our life, we will be much less likely to explode, to overflow onto people. And in fact, what we will feel is accomplishment, we will feel joy, and we will feel a sense of ownership over our own power. Because let us not forget that Mars and Pluto together, when handled the wrong way, is manipulation, is control, is domination, is enslavement. So we don't need to go there. So when we put all of this together, it really feels like a great opportunity to really dig in, to sink into something you're passionate about, but something that also is going to give you some sort of payoff. A lot of people find this through work or through their job, but you can also find it through parenting or through talking to people, hanging out with people, exercise, go out and connect with something, go find something new and get passionate about it and get obsessed with it. But do remember that Saturn, Mars, and Pluto all interacting at the same time and playing a role in this full moon can really deplete your energy resources. So use your energy wisely. Watch who you are interacting with, because you never know what someone's motivations are unless you actually know them. So if someone's not being straightforward with you, just stay away from them. And if someone is being sidewinding with you, again, please just stay away from them. But the people that you can trust, go deeper. Start with yourself. Work around to the people you love and you know. As you're regenerating, you at the same time that you are getting in touch with these reserves of energy, it is refilling from the universe, and you deserve this, and you are abundant, and enjoy this time. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you for watching and have a wondrous full moon. You are very loved. Bye-bye.